Hello, everybody. This is going to be about propaganda, but as the Three Stooges would have, it'd be propaganda is here. I wanted just a little funny analogy with this because it's serious, but I really want to have some levity to the situation. And I couldn't put the Three Stooges on here because of copyright, but you get the idea. The goose is propaganda, so it's kind of a play on words. Okay, gaslighting isn't just lying. It isn't. It's just really got it to where they make it believable. It's telling you not to believe your own eyes. And that's what you hear a lot of messaging saying. Don't believe what you see. And right now, the Trump administration is running a full-scale gaslighting operation on the American people. It is incredible. I mean, they're cranking out some serious garbage. They say the economy is booming while families are drowning. I mean, you just look at what it costs to go eat anywhere. It's incredible. I mean, you might say gas is down, but if you can't, afford to eat, what's worth the trip to go there? And then they say law and order. While chaos to the policy, they say freedom while rights quietly disappear. I'm a veteran. I swore an oath to the Constitution, not to any of these politicians, either on the left or right. And today we're going to break down how power gaslights a nation and why it works. It's really good. I want to start off with looking at two individuals that are pretty much going down in history. Well, one is already going down in history as one of the best propagandists in the world at that time during the 1930s and 40s was Goebbels here, the man on the right of the screen. And then you have Stephen Miller, our current man of the hour that should be like on Time magazine as Goebbels was in 1933. But Stephen Miller is infamous and he needs to be put in jail. I don't think he'll get the death sentence as Goebbels did, but he killed himself before that happened. Some sign. I hope, Stephen Miller thinks about what he's doing to people with his propaganda. Today's term is gaslighting, but Goebbels had an absolute machine going, affecting everything from movies to the newspapers, dominating the radio. The radio was the huge medium of the 1940s. Now in the 21st century, we have social media. And Stephen Miller is doing his best to flood the zone. Exactly what Mr. Bannon wants. But he's the guy that's giving directions that it flows all the way down, that the story is the same. Criminals, mass rapists, MS-13, anything that you can paint a bad picture of anybody to boil them down to animals. That's why these ICE agents are shooting people, because they see them as just animals, something other than vermin, which Dr. Goebbels had a video showing thousands of rats flooding the street. He's going to clean them up. Well, our Dr. Stephen Miller of propaganda is doing the same thing. Everything is being directed, and you can see how good it is because the story stays the same no matter who's spinning it. And it's just incredible how this guy's done what he's done. My hat's off to him for what he's doing. He is doing an excellent job in his position on policy and everything. But he's the one behind the scenes. That's the puppet master that's really driving the train to get a direction of a white nationalist nation. Got the backing of a lot of those folks on the religious right, but we're destroying people that our country, like I said before, and I'll keep saying again, was built on the back of immigrants. And Stephen Miller has made every single person to be an animal. And if they're not, he'll find some other story to spin to keep it going. And as we go along here, we'll see some of these people and their narration. It's all the same. It's incredible. And you got to keep yourself aware of what's propaganda, because both sides really do it well. And you just got to see your own version of what the truth should be and search for it. And I view a lot of videos day and night, and it drives people crazy around me. They see me just chewing up thousands of videos, but I want to present something that we got to look out for these dangerous people that are wanting to hurt the country. Stephen Miller is probably not a bad person, but he's doing bad things to good people. So let's dig into this, and I'll keep you posted on what's happening. We'll take this from the top, where it just spews this rainbow colors of garbage out of her mouth every day. And she's getting her marching orders from the minister of propaganda himself, Stephen Miller. And this is a guy that has incredible power with the president of the United States. He is just a pure evil individual. I mean, you look at him, it's just, oh God, I don't even want to do it. It'll kill my lunch. Okay, we'll start off and listen to her propaganda.
To that moment on Saturday. This tragedy occurred as a result of a deliberate and hostile resistance by Democrat leaders in Minnesota. For weeks, Governor Walz and the Mayor Jacob Fry and other elected Democrats were spreading lies about federal law enforcement officers who are risking their lives daily to remove the worst criminal illegal aliens from our streets: murderers, rapists, pedophiles, human traffickers, and gang members.
Okay, this line she has, and you'll see this with everybody else that I'll show you, is exactly the same. They're cookie cuttering this all the way down. They've been saying this since the administration took over, that we're getting rid of the worst, and these are all criminals and rapists. And there's no human being in this whole chain, not a single one. Not anything in here shows something different. If they were going after the worst, I got it. Go in there, guns a-blazing, and just take them out. But what's happening is not that. They're picking up everybody, and then as they're sweeping through, it's just criminality of gangs on the street. They see somebody that's brown, yellow, doesn't look right. The eyes, they don't look like a white nationalist. They're coming after them, and they bash in their windows, cut their seatbelts, and leave their cars, all their valuables in there. I mean, Minnesota looks like a war zone with all these vehicles all over the place. And, they just destroy lives, families with this garbage propaganda that they're doing. And that's why I keep saying, I really believe in propaganda, because people call gaslighting. Okay, yeah, but I'm old school a little bit. Let's go and call it what it really is, propaganda. And you can see how it really fits in well with what they're doing here. And I will give Stephen Miller some really good kudos on what he's doing, because the narrative is tightly controlled. Well, let's move on here. Now, we're going to take us all back to the incident. This as one of several videos clipped together, but there's a huge amount of video coverage from every angle on this, and this is one of the better ones put together to give the story of what Alex was trying to do. He was not a domestic terrorist. He wasn't trying to do anything that they said they did. Watch.
At least 3 minutes before Alex Preddy was shot and killed, he is seen at 8:58 a.m. Saturday holding his phone at a distance from immigration enforcement officers in an apparent attempt to record a nearby arrest. An eyewitness captured this video of Preddy filming the arrest. At no point does he appear to display a weapon. A minute later, Preddy appears to be...
I want to stop and take a moment here. Alex was a professional. You look at him, and this is what I remember back from my concealed weapon training course, is that you always want to be around a camera. And the example they use, driving to a gas station, they always have a camera, and then show yourself, and you pull your weapon, put your hand up, and walk backwards, because that video will save you. So this is a point that, Alex the entire time was backing away. The ICE agents had no need to go across the street. He was just enough in the street to get their attention because they could see that he was videoing the women. He was not up into anybody's faces there doing anything. He was not assaulting. He wasn't being aggressive. He was passive the entire time, holding camera in one hand and then his hand up in the other, backing off. And the agent kept pushing his hand up to push him back. He was doing that. Then that should have been it. The agent should have been, at that point, de-escalating the situation. It wasn't happening. It was something that, they just are not doing. Everywhere you see them, one agent goes up, the others see, and it's just a huge pile on. They do that to everybody. Beat them with their knees on the neck, anything to inflict maximum pain to everybody. You see them hit with the large cans of pepper spray in their faces. And like here, these two women and Alex, they're spraying them down hard. I mean, they're getting a massive shower, no soap. Let's continue on here.
To be using his phone to record two bystanders interacting with a federal officer before that officer is seen shoving one of them across the street.
Do not push them into the traffic.
Another camera angle shows the officer shove one of those individuals into Preddy. You can see the two holding on to each other. The confrontation escalates. Both of Preddy's hands are visible. One holds the phone, the other he held up seemingly to protect himself from pepper spray.
Whoa!
Preddy is seen being pepper sprayed. 3 officers grapple with him.
And what you see at this point, Alex turns his back. The other part of the video you don't see, he was trying to protect one of the women. And then once he's turned his back with the one officer, you have 6 to 7 others piling on at that point. I don't know what kind of signal they use, but it's very quick. I mean, this is something that you see all over in all the videos. They pile on to one individual. If it's a group, they don't do it. They form a line with Bovino as they show, and then they push forward. But when it comes to individuals, it's just one. You'll get up to 7 individuals assaulting the individual, and they get them down on the ground. All of them get down to the ground, brutalize them, handcuff them, and then they be arrested. But at this point, I think that they just didn't realize what they're doing. There's no de-escalation at all in this.
Until he's taken down and held on the frozen pavement. Another group of officers then surrounds him. At 9:01, the federal officer in a gray jacket emerges from the scrum with a gun.
There. This agent, and this is the whole point, none of these agents are wearing any uniform stylized to identify them. They got all masks on, all these. And this guy that takes the gun, he could be anybody for us. Yeah, he might be Border Patrol or something, but oh hell, I don't know. And he's quickly getting out of there. I don't know why he would do that. That's an interesting thing that I'm seeing, how quickly he ran out of there. But no one seemed to care that he didn't have a gun at that
Gun that appears to match the one Preddy had a permit to carry. Almost simultaneously, the first shot is fired. Officers step back. Within 5 seconds, 9 more shots, and soon after, the officer is heard.
Yeah, I got the gun. I got the gun. And it's almost like they're high-fiving each other on what they've done. And with Renee Good, the shooter, Jonathan Ross, just went up there, looked at her. Got another one notch on my gun. These guys would do the same thing. They got another notch on the gun. These guys are absolute untrained. They're criminals of the lowest level. Yeah, they've done a real good recruiting drive. Gotcha. And I've talked about, their level of training. It's nothing. If this was regular police officers, there'd be massive uproar all the way to the top, wanting some heads to roll. But no. They quickly changed the narrative, very quickly. Now, this is the deputy DOJ here, and his propaganda is just as much as anybody else, but you got to see how he accuses saying what Alex is, just treating him like a horrible individual.
Well, first of all, I did not say he was violent. I said he was not protesting peacefully. And you just described what every American has seen, which is video shortly ahead of the incident, where he was screaming in the face of ICE. He had a phone up right to the right into ICE's face. You tell me, is that protesting peacefully?
Now, what you got to see here is that he's saying protesting peacefully. He said he had the cell phone up into the officer's face. That's a lie. Everything that these people say from the top down, just all lies. And it's got to stop. Then again, what we're looking here at, I'll read it to you. DHS spokesman confirmed to Fox News that several federal agents have had their body cameras on during the interaction that led to the deadly shooting of Alex Peretti in Minnesota. The footage from multiple angles is currently being reviewed by investigators. I don't think we're going to see the light of day. It's all going to get quickly deleted. We've seen it already. It's not going to really help much at a closer angle. I'd love to see their faces. That would be great to get their faces shown here. Who killed Alex? Because those are the murderers that need to be facing punishment. I mean, from Alex's autopsy, they can retrieve the bullets, match it with ballistics to their weapons, and nail these guys. But I just don't see that happening. DHS is investigating themselves. So there's not wanting the FBI or the Minnesota investigators on the ground to do anything. So this is going to be conveniently swept underneath the ground and be hidden away. You're going to just bury this entire thing. And we got our most favorite individual spreading this propaganda, cosplaying Kristi Noem. Incredible individual. I mean, it just blows my mind of how she can just spew out the rainbow of garbage. Let's hear her remarks.
The White House has labeled the man who was killed in Minnesota as a domestic terrorist. Is that something you agree with? And have you seen any evidence to back up that claim?
When you perpetuate violence against a government because of ideological reasons and for reasons to resist and perpetuate violence, that is the definition of domestic terrorism. This individual who came with weapons and ammunition to stop a law enforcement operation of federal law enforcement officers committed an act of domestic terrorism. That's the facts.
Where's the evidence of his ideology, though?
Okay, what I want to point out here, she said weapons, more than one handgun. So again, she can't get her information straight. And to determine his ideology, that they're just making it up for everybody. Everybody that's not like them, they're wrong. They're the wrong type of people. We're bad people. Bad. I'm sure if they see this video, I'm a bad person. Really. They're going to have to travel a long ways to even try to, reach out and touch me. But I'm telling you, just don't trust these people. We have a government that we cannot trust. And it's the propaganda is just not going to stop. It's a cranky machine that wants to, as they say, flood the zone. And that zone is just being maxed out with all these events that are helping President Trump avoid the Epstein files. He's got it. And look, what we'll be talking about Iran here once he's got his playbook together and start doing that. But it's not stopping. It's just a constant machine that's spewing this stuff out to cover up the grift, the corruption, just keeping him out of trouble, because he knows he's got a lot to bear on these Epstein files coming out. Because I personally believe he's got a deep stake into this with other individuals, and it's the power of the rich. They're controlling the narrative, and my heart goes out to those people. And I've been hearing a lot of this. Well, I'm not in trouble because I just sit on the couch. God, that sounds like J.D. Vance. On the couch. Come on, boy, let's go. I mean, these people, I pity them, really. And when they send me hate mail, I'm living rent-free in their heads. I'm doing this because I care. I started this. I am not a YouTuber. And I just want, to be able to feel like I'm trying to do something here. Because if not, I'm going stir crazy. It's just stuff that, my country, our country, I'm speaking to you, everybody here. It's our country going down the tubes here, being vexed to hell in a handbasket, as they say. So if I can be able to help one person to see the light and give them something to see, okay, it's not really as what they say. Because there's so many channels out there crafting stories about what, Alex Peretti shouldn't have done. Yeah, I'm a handgun carrier. I believe in the Second Amendment, and I believe that they help them with more rules to keep the Second Amendment rights if you go out and protest, using your First Amendment rights, like having a second person and then watch your back saying, hey, back away. Even if you have to, if you run, yeah, they come after you. But at that point, you've gotten out of the situation. You need to be just a little bit farther back. Maybe not much, but have some people to protect you. Because if there was more people around Alex, they wouldn't have beaten him, because they know that they cannot control a mass of people. Unfortunately, there was not enough people. There was just some women around there. And these ICE agents hate women. And if you saw what Alex was trying to protect those two, because he was behind it. He was not going aggressively at these ICE agents. None at all. And there's another video that I just saw from the BBC that Alex, a week or so earlier, was involved in another protest, and ICE agents came after him. He backed away, but his waistband showed that he had the handgun there. So I don't know if they saw it, but it's something, and I'll probably look at exploring that one here in detail. But I just want to say to everybody, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and most of all, take care of your community, because they need you and support this country. God bless the USA. Thanks for tuning in. Stay curious, stay kind, and as always, have a wonderful rowdy. Take good care of yourself and each other. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. I'll see you in the next video.